Welcome to Black Girl in CLE, the podcast. I am your host, Shana Black, and in each episode, my special guest and I will talk about local events, the topic of access in Cleveland, and sometimes we'll just talk about some cool people who are doing cool things in the greater Cleveland area. I'll introduce you to this week's guest right after this. Hey everybody, welcome to this new episode of Black Girl in CLE, the podcast. I am your host, Shana Black, and today I am here with Kelli Arndt. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yay!
You got it right! Yay! That never happens.
Why? Because I never say your last name.
Yeah,
it's just Kelli.
Yeah.
Kelli is the CEO, or Chief Creative Genius, or all the amazing things behind Fuudge. Introduce yourself, Kelli. Tell us a little bit about Fuudge.
Well, you already introduced me.
Well, tell us more about who Kelli is.
Creator, everything officer of Fuudge. I am a squirrel chaser. I do a little bit of everything. And I came up with Fuudge. I just wanted a hot fudge sundae that wasn't disappointing. So I made my own hot fudge, and it kind of snowballed from there. As you know, since after I met you, by popping into your holiday pop-up at CLE Urban Winery 2 Christmas times ago.
2 years, yeah. Not this last one, like 2017.
Little over a year ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just kind of taken off and snowballed from there because, my little, maybe I'll take some chocolate to this thing and get people to my table idea turned into, I should take this fudge thing seriously because nobody bought my art. They bought the fudge.
Well, and I told you, I didn't realize you were selling art. Like, I thought you had an amazing tablescape to showcase the chocolate. So,
really?
I did. So, when you were at the book club event, the first book club event that we did, and you were like, I was selling art. I was like, you're selling art? You were selling art that day.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of jokes on that table.
Maybe just because I like chocolate. So, that's all I saw was chocolate and all the other stuff to accent the chocolate.
That's so.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So that's my fault. I should have made you an artist instead.
No, that's fine. I do a little of everything, and culinary artist is definitely up there on one of my more regular practices.
So let's talk about, it's not just chocolate sauce. This chocolate sauce is a little special. Tell us what makes your chocolate sauce just a little bit different.
So all the ingredients are fair trade and organic. And, well, the ingredients themselves are certified as such. My product is not yet because those certifications cost a whole lot, and there's some caveats with the practice that I haven't decided which organization I want to give my money for my licensing fees because, frankly, Fair Trade USA doesn't have strict enough standards for me. Okay. But so ethically and sustainably sourced ingredients. And then I collaborate on every flavor with a different craft libation. So starting out with local booze like Blackberry Merlot from CLE Urban Winery. At the end of the event, I told Destiny, hey, I think I should take this seriously. And she goes, yeah, you should. I was like, well, then instead of using the cheap stuff out of my liquor cabinet, I want to use local booze. And she goes, hold on a minute, runs away, comes back with a bottle of wine, orders me to bring her samples. Said, yes, ma'am.
Right. First of all, Destiny is a motivator.
Oh, yeah.
So as soon as you said, I think I should take this seriously, she is like, yeah, girl, go do that.
Yep.
I mean, how empowering of women is she for women entrepreneurs? I'm hooking her up with another woman entrepreneur, and you're like, oh my gosh, like they're nerding out on Destiny.
Yeah.
As I'm watching the correspondence go through. But, so you started, and your first was the Blackberry Merlot fudge, right? Is all your sauces the same base, basically, and then you just change the libation?
They're pretty similar. I adjust the levels a little bit to really get the flavors to come out, but more or less, yeah. So I have 3 dark chocolate flavors. So the Blackberry Merlot, bourbon using Cleveland whiskey, and they've been super supportive too. And then a plain dark chocolate that I put a little hint of cinnamon in it because I just love cinnamon and chocolate, the warmth it brings, and it's really subtle, so most people don't even really notice it. But that one I am going to work with Tremont Scoops when they reopen this spring, and they're going to carry it and use it with their they're fantastic vegan ice cream to do sundaes, and that way hot fudge sundaes can be for everybody and not just
Very cool.
those who can do dairy.
So let's take a step back. For those people that don't know, tell us what fair trade is. Because you said your chocolate is going to be, or your ingredients are fair trade.
Okay. Fair trade is, it's essentially a practice that makes sure that the farmers, the people producing the actual agricultural commodities that become, the pieces that become a product are taken care of all the way down. So with cocoa, sugar, that sort of thing, all the way to the tree, the grass, that gets cut to produce the ingredient, they're well taken care of. So many people don't realize that in the chocolate industry, we all learn chocolate through like Hershey's and Nestle's through trick-or-treating, and we don't know that Big Chocolate has some pretty questionable practices in their history, and that's being really gentle. Yes. I won't get into the venom that I have for some Big Chocolate practices, but suffice it to say, they could do a lot better. So my ultimate goal is to go direct trade, which means I would build a relationship directly with the farmers, and then I could tell their story or help them tell their story through my company as I use their ingredients. And, I could go visit them and take pictures of their farm and talk about the practices, because people don't realize chocolate is an agricultural item. Cocoa is not inherently sweet.
Right.
Europeans added a ton of sugar and milk to stretch it and to make it go further and to make it palatable for people that just didn't get it. But now the American chocolate movement, the bean to bar chocolate movement, and there's people all over the world that are following it, but it kind of started here. It's going back to the roots of chocolate and to treating cacao like we treat grapes or coffee, with single origins, and really highlighting the natural terroirs that occur in and adjust the flavors, not adjust, but they make really dramatic differences in flavors based on where it's grown and how it's grown. And I'm turning into a super chocolate nerd the more I get into this, and I love it.
So tell me this, though, because you're turning into a chocolate nerd. Were you a chocolate nerd when you were selling art at the pop-up shop? Or did this come along the way of
not on the level I am now, but I've always been kind of a chocolate snob, and that's sort of how it came about. Is I wanted really good chocolate. I wanted a hot fudge sundae to be about the chocolate and not be like chocolate scented corn syrup,
chocolate flavored. I love that.
Yeah,
on the hot chocolate mix that it says it'll say like milk chocolate, then it says chocolate flavored.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. I want it to be chocolate,
right?
know?
Oh no,
and I really like. I don't have a problem paying $8 for a chocolate bar, because I know how much work that goes into it. And I've done some travel through Central America and been through cocoa country and seen them harvesting it. And like a cacao pod can be almost the size of a football. And, there's people carrying sacks of those on their back. They chop them open and they have to ferment the beans, or you don't even get the nice flavor out of the chocolate, like a cocoa bean directly out of the pod, fresh off the tree, is super bitter. Those flavors don't develop until after they ferment. So there's so much more that goes into making chocolate than we understand. And I ended up making something kind of new out of it. And now I kind of want to get back to the roots and get into bean to bar chocolate too. But that's a little ways down the line. But I want to apply those practices to what I'm making.
First of all, I love that we call it Big Chocolate. Like, we hear so many other things, like your Big Pharma, your Big Tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
I've never thought to call it Big Chocolate. But before we get up, to move away from that, I will say that I didn't realize Big Chocolate was a thing until, number one, I met someone that I was telling them, oh, I'm going to Hershey, and they were like, whatever they said, that, like, it's awful, don't eat Hershey or what have you. And I had never heard that. That's like the first time I heard someone say, like, avoid that. But then when I went down there, like, you just realize how industrialized the process is.
Oh, yeah. And when you get into the trade of it, it is called industrial chocolate. Big Chocolate, Hershey, Nestle, the kind of stuff that you get in the impulse aisle at the grocery store.
Right.
That chocolate is referred to as industrial chocolate.
And
It's so homogenized. That's why it all tastes the same.
Right. And it was so, like, it's such a great place to go. It's something for the kids. It's a great vacation spot. Like, my kids loved it.
The roller coaster park is fabulous.
Absolutely. Hershey Park. There is a mock factory there where they really do it up for kids. And there were some cute little cows singing this song. I kept thinking, like, are you trying to brainwash me? Because it was just like, we love Hershey. I mean, they just singing this song.
Yeah.
And the kids are like, we like this. Let's do. And it was so cute. And I'm like, well, I want to see the factory. Like, can you go on a tour? Can you go on a tour? Can you? And it was just like, no, you can go here. And I'm always, kind of skeptical when you intentionally move people a certain way. Like, no, don't look that way. Look this way. Because then the question is, like, what am I not seeing? And at that point, that's when I started, kind of thinking through the process. And we camped in Hershey.
Yeah.
So we didn't stay on the resort. And, just like, Disney has an experience if you stay on Disney. And not knocking Disney, but if you stay in Disney in the Disney Hotel versus if you stay at the Motel 6, not too far, you get a whole different experience.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
And so, the idea of there being a big chocolate, and when you think about how much of our grocery store aisle comes from only one of 2 or 3 companies, it's just, it's something to be said.
Yeah. I'd give them the benefit of the doubt on the factory.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Just because with chocolate will scorch at a low temperature.
Yeah.
Like, regular chocolate that hardens into a bar, you can't get it up to sanitation temperatures in the same way that you can, say, the product that I make, which is a liquid form of chocolate. So, like, having a bunch of people walking through there all the time, that's a serious sanitation issue. That's why they have that
I know.
the mock factory. But their questionable practices are more like, way back to sourcing. That's where the practices get questionable. It's there's a lot of history of forced labor in the industry and stuff like that.
Right.
And part of the problem is, like, they officially don't think of it as forced labor because they're not forcing it. They're just, monopolizing the buying power, and these farmers have no one else to sell it to. So if they don't accept the prices that they're offered, they get nothing. Right. And they're working for nothing. So it really messes with the little guy, and it's not fair at all. And a lot of the times the prices are so low, their kids can't go to school because to support the whole family, the kids have to come and work too.
Work the chocolate.
And so, like, the bean to bar industry that I'm taking so much inspiration from, and the direct trade, is making these relationships with farmers and helping them to form co-ops, so that they can pull their product together so that they can sell to a larger company and make sure that they get a fair amount. And by forming those co-ops, they can demand a better price. And if it's fair trade or better, at the very least, fair trade pays a premium on top of the market price. And that premium goes back to those communities that they can use it for building schools or community development, helping educate their kids, helping feed their families, in a way that, just individually bringing whatever beans they can produce to, the big guys. It lets them do a lot more.
So to recap, fair trade is really about empowering the individual farmers, would you say? Or bringing them together to change their collective selling power.
Right. So fair trade and direct trade is, like you said, for empowering farmers, but it's also to help empower both the producer, the actual producer, the farmers, and the consumer, us that buy the chocolate, and take out that middleman that jacks those prices up for, storage fees, transport. And so these co-ops will, they'll take some of that, that risk out of the hands of the farmer and help them work together to get their product to the smaller companies that are making single origin chocolate or, premium, higher quality chocolate without all the additives, so that the farmers can make more out of it. And they're also going back and helping educate the farmers that if they grow fine chocolate, better beans with better practices, then they can demand a higher price because their product is better. And that snowballs into they can continuously grow their price, grow their farm, and sustain their environment better because they're realizing that chocolate does better and is more sustainable when you go back to the natural way of growing it in a jungle with biodiversity, other kinds of plants growing around it that naturally should be growing around these plants. Help protect the cocoa trees from pests, from different kinds of pests and from fungus and stuff like that otherwise they don't have any protection from other than synthetic pesticides and herbicides and all of that just makes the crop weak. Going back to nature, Mother Nature knows what she's doing and we need to trust her instead of thinking we're better. And the cocoa industry is really proving that is the way that's making everything come out better results for everybody in the long run.
Cool. So let's circle back and focus on Fudge.
Okay.
Where'd the name come from?
I can't resist a bad pun.
Okay.
And so that popped into my head and I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to fudge everything up. This is fudge and fun.
Nice.
And it, my mom helps me cook because I'm still a very, very small operation. So my mom and then a couple of friends who are also mothers come in. And so I call them my mother fudgers. I yell at them to help me pack fudge. It gets a little bit ridiculous in the kitchen, but we have fun.
Good. So let's talk about the journey from when I met you to kind of here. My first thinking point was maybe in December, but it's only a few months into the year. It just seemed like you went through an amazing transformation. So here you are, like selling art. And then 1 year later, you're, kicking with Kenny, you're on television, you've gotten all these suppliers that have connected with you. Like, yes, now I'm with Cleveland Whiskey, now the CLE Urban Winery, now so-and-so. So, like, what's that journey been like for you?
It's wild. Like, I was just trying to sell some arts and crafts stuff that I had built up because I like to try every kind of art form that I see. I always want to, I'm more fascinated with how do they do it, and I want to try doing it than sticking to a practice. So I was kind of just trying to make some extra money by selling some of it before the holidays. And this whole thing kind of snowballed. Like, I have dogs, so I knew I couldn't produce out of my house. I had a culinary background. I did joint vocational school in high school for culinary, and then decided, I don't really like working in restaurants after I'd experienced every aspect of working in restaurants. I respect it. I love going to them, but I don't love working in them. But I knew what I needed or thought I knew what I needed, at least basically. Mm-hmm. And so I started looking for a shared commercial kitchen space because I figured that must be a thing at this point. And sure enough, I stumbled onto Cleveland Culinary Launch, and they were getting ready to start an incubator program. Nice. And so I joined the incubator, and my godson came with me and took the class with me. He is in middle school, so that was a challenge.
Wow. Because
I have a hard enough time focusing, and so trying to keep us both focused was challenging. But we learned a lot. 8 weeks. Oh. I think it was once a week for 8 weeks, something like that. So we learned a lot, but
you're gonna pass him the family business.
Who knows? Okay. It's a possibility, maybe.
I mean, since he's there for the training, so
yeah, he's got to get through school first.
I understand.
But if I could put him to work and he wants to make some cash, absolutely.
Understand. So, how do you stay motivated? So one of the things is we showcase people. I like to showcase entrepreneurs doing amazing stuff. And I often get people to say, that was inspiring. I wish I could do that. What's the word of encouragement or motivation or resource that you would point people to?
The one thing that really keeps me motivated is having made the decision early on to go with fair trade ingredients. It makes it not about me, because I frankly don't care about money. And so, like, I'll just spend all my money on food and be totally content with it. No big deal. And then I'll be broke. And so to motivate me to not just give up when it gets frustrating by doing fair trade, my impact is before I make a profit. So, like, I already feel like I've made a difference, and I'm really motivated to grow that difference, to be able to get some impact back to farmers. And like I mentioned, I've traveled in Central America. My boyfriend Brandon and I wrecked a motorcycle in Guatemala, up near Cocoa Country, and we were on top of a mountain, and people didn't even speak Spanish. They spoke Quechua, which is a Mayan dialect. They had to get some of the kids that were learning Spanish in town to help us translate. But so we kind of got a up-close look at how they live and how they work, and I wanted to give back because they need the help. So little compared to what we have and what we're used to, but they welcomed us in. They helped us find a ride into market after a couple days when the truck came in, and they just kind of took care of us, and they had no reason to need to do that, but they did, and we really appreciate it. Yeah, and I wanted to give back to that.
Really cool. So for people that are interested in your product, like, how do they find it? Can they buy it for the personal use? So if I want to make hot chocolate at home, can I go buy Fudge, or do I need to be, like, only at a restaurant? How do we find your product?
Oh, I wish you could find it at every restaurant in town. Hint, hint, call me. But yeah, I have it available on my website, ofudge.com, and it's OHFUUDGE. So you can buy it online. I do all kinds of food shows. I did Chocolate Fest last week, and all kinds of craft shows, Cleveland Bazaar shows, and stuff like that. And I'm working really hard on getting it into restaurants and bars around town. So I work with the Cleveland chapter of the U.S. Bartenders Guilds, and have met a lot of really creative, really great bartenders and bar managers through that organization, and we've got it in a couple of bars, like Griffin Cider House in Lakewood plays with it all the time. And
what did they make there with it?
I don't remember the name of the cocktail, but we've come up with a few really fun treats. So if you just go in there and harass them on, like, a quiet weeknight, they'll get creative.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's not just cider. It's a cider and gin house, but they've got a full bar. They just specialize in gin and ciders.
Perfect. Is there someone, or is there a local company that you've yet to work with that you still want to work with? Like, who's your bucket list?
I don't really have a specific bucket list.
Do you have a type of liquor you want to try with yours?
I'm actually thinking about kind of going more basic with it, because I want to keep it more versatile. Okay. So I want to push more toward working with bars and restaurants, like business to business, bakeries, because effectively Fudge it's not a loaf of fudge, like that you make on the marble slab. Mm-hmm. It's a liquid fudge if it's hot, but if it's cold, it's really thick. It's more like a ganache, but it's vegan, basically, because I don't waste space in my chocolate with way too much sugar and milk. Like, you can add that yourself. So I would really like to just get in with local coffee shops to use it for hot drinks, for hot chocolates and coffees, mochas. Mm-hmm. I'd like to get it into more bars for cocktailing, because it does lend itself, because some of the flavors are mixed with different kinds of alcohol, it lends itself to a little more creativity. And because it's vegan, it's easier to say, hey, make me this cocktail, no dairy. And then there's more possibilities there, and more people can enjoy it. Some people that don't know, they get scared off by the word vegan, but all that means is there's no animal products in it. And other than milk, why would you have an animal product in chocolate that is, inclusions notwithstanding? But This isn't solid chocolate, so you don't really have inclusions in it. Well,
you shouldn't.
Yeah. No, we've done hot fudge sundae with bacon bits. That was pretty delicious. But, you know, the fudge is I want it to be available for as many people as possible. So there aren't, like, extra allergens in it. I don't use any soy lecithin in it, which is, it's the additive in chocolate that makes it, when it melts, it makes it flow really well when you have, like, a solid chocolate. And then it helps it to temper with a nice snap. But it's also what makes your cheap chocolate taste like wax. That's soy lecithin. And some people have an allergy to soy. A lot of people have an aversion to soy. And I personally just don't like the way it tastes in my chocolate. So I chose to go without soy. Plus that opens it up, again, to more people. And then my little bit of coconut oil that I add into it, that's what makes it flow and keeps it soft. So it never does solidify. Though if it's exposed to air, like we've done it on cookies and cakes and that kind of thing, and it will dry. So you can use it like royal icing, except it's chocolatey. So you can get that really dark pop of color, the black, without the food coloring taste, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's good. So tell me about, for the people at home, if we buy your old fudge packet, because they come in smaller packets, right?
Mm-hmm. I've got little packs, 4-ounce pouches that are like the applesauce pouches. But I also have a 9-ounce jar, and the ounces is by weight. So a 9-ounce tall narrow jar, you can get it that way. But I'm working on, like I said, I want to work with bars and restaurants, so I'll do it in bulk too.
For the people at home, though, what besides the hot chocolate and the drinks and the ice cream, what else can they use your fudge sauce on?
You can spread it. I have a friend who spreads it on toast.
Oh.
My grandma keeps a jar of it next to her TV chair with a bag of pretzels. Nice. She loves the Oh Why Not flavor. That's the one with CLE Urban Wineries Blackberry Merlot. Okay. So it at room temperature, it'll stay really thick. But if it's cold, it'll liquefy. Or cold. If it's hot, it'll liquefy. So you can drizzle it really nicely, like on fruit. When my parents have a party, my mom will just do like a tray of popcorn and potato chips and pretzels and just drizzle it and put a spoon out so people can have like chocolate salty snack mix, which is way yummy.
Sure.
You know, you can draw on each other. I don't judge.
So one more thing, before we go to our lightning round, our Cleveland lightning round.
Oh dear.
It's not like history.
Dun dun dun.
Right. Old Fudge uses usually local liqueurs or spirits. Yes. Can children have some?
Yes, the alcohol is cooked out. But when little kids try the bourbon wine, their faces are really funny.
Why?
You know, because kids typically do not appreciate the taste of whiskey. When they do.
So it still has the taste. It's
the flavor is absolutely there, but the alcohol is not. Okay. I cut the Ohio liquor laws are so weird that I just didn't even bother. I cook it out, and that's why we make cocktails. Because if you want to put it back in, there you go. Okay. I do have another flavor that I'm working on. It's not a super local. Okay. Because it's a company out of New York. Okay. But it's Soltado. It's a Serrano chili infused añejo tequila. So working on getting the levels right. The last batch was tasty, but didn't have enough heat, in my opinion. So we're gonna have hot fudge coming out soon.
I think I'm scared of hot fudge.
It won't be like killer spicy, but it'll have that sweet heat kind of effect going on. That's so yummy if you like hot stuff.
Okay, you ready for the lightning round?
I guess so.
Okay, you can answer or you can say pass if you just don't know or you don't really want to share.
Okay.
Okay. Ready? Are you an East Sider or a West Sider?
East Sider.
Favorite place to go on the West Side?
Oh God, that's hard. I really like playing shuffleboard, so Forest City.
Okay. Favorite place to hang out on the East Side?
That's also hard. I'm such a homebody lately. I live really close to the lake, so I am a fan of my yard with the dogs. Although right now, I could live without the Tonka toys in Euclid.
Oh, I'm sure. Books or movies?
I prefer books, but I do more movies.
Last book you've read or are reading?
Right now I am reading Leapfrog, which you gave me.
Yes.
But the last fiction I read purely for pleasure was Water for Elephants, and that book is amazing.
Where do you normally get your books from?
I'd like to say the library, but I tend to walk into bookstores and buy way too many books. But I love that, what is it, Horizon Books in Ohio City? Mm-hmm. Love that bookstore.
Cool beans. Favorite place to go on a night out?
I've been spending a lot of time over at Griffin lately on a night out. We've been playing with a lot of cocktail ideas because we had some events last month that were a lot of fun. So,
favorite thing about living in Cleveland?
I'm close to my family and older friends and just exploring my hometown in a way that I never did before.
Very cool. Well, thank you for your time. I'm so happy that you sat down with me.
Thanks for having
on the
me.
show. And like I said, I love to somewhat claim you. Like, her first show was with Black Girl in CLE.
It's all Shana's fault.
It's all Shana's fault. So many people say that because now they're super successful. So I'll take it. One more time before we go, give us your website or how to find you.
It is www.ofudge.com. It's OHFUUDGE.
Are you on social media?
Yes. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at ofudge, yeah.
Fudge, yeah.
Fudge, yeah.
Very
It's the only way they could all match.
No, I got you.
And, more bad puns.
Yeah, I see. Thank you, and thanks for everybody for listening, and we will check you next episode. Take care.
Yay.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Black Girl in CLE, the podcast. Please check us out online at www.blackgirlincle.com and like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at blackgirlincle. Talk to you next time.